So I think it's going to be 12 actually. I might have to edit this if it's not. Right, it's now come back from Dean having cut the holes. Here they all are. And I've just degreased it. You can see a little bit of water. Wash it out with soapy water as well. That's the front one. So I'll leave this to dry, and then the next step will be to paint all inside here. I'll paint all this. And one thing we found was on the other one, where I hadn't painted that edge, the light actually reflects right off that edge and it's like really bright. So we're going to just paint that. Don't think there's anything else we can do with it, like a bit of you know, like rubber bead or something. But finding something and making it look good in the corners is going to be, you know, hard work. So yeah, I'm not going to paint these, I don't think. I'm going to paint around the tops and around the edges here. I might even infill this, you know, to try and make it sort of a bit smoother. But it's hot glue, you know, and it's like 200 degrees or something. When you put it on your finger, it's quite burny. But yeah, we'll do that. If not, I should just like paint it all. I guess I could put no nails or something in it to smooth it. I don't know, because that goes cold, doesn't it? And sort of an hour or so you can paint over it. So there's that as an option. This one's not so bad. Both bits of that aren't too bad there, because you're kind of, yeah, you're flush and it fits because it was all pressed in. And again, that one down there isn't too bad either. Whereas this one, I did put a lot more glue under it. I don't quite know why I did that, but I did. So yeah, I've tried the actual lenses, the actual lights in here. But yeah, I shall video the rest of this when I start painting it. I won't do it, probably show you, I'll probably show bits of it painting like I did last time. X-Wing project. This board here is going to sit inside the X-Wing itself. And all it basically is just connections. So you've got connections coming in from the circuit boards above the model, which are going to be in the ceiling somehow. Haven't exactly decided how. And they then connect to various, mainly LEDs or jewels in the exhausts, temperature sensors and things like this inside the model. And so I'll start here. This is the I2C bus along here, and basically I've cut this in half. One side is 5 volts and the other side is 3.3. So both sides are wired the same, so they're V in, ground, SCL and SDA. So the plugs are all the same. So I've tried to standardize it. I know that if you plug a 5 volt one into 3.3 into 5, it'll smoke it. So I kind of tried to colour code them with Sharpie pens. I didn't want to paint them, it's going to be a hell of a mess. So this has got this will measure the ambient temperature within the model, this sensor. Then I've got 5 volt I2C coming in, 3.35 volts I2C coming in. Sensor 1, sensor 2 and sensor 3. This was actually going to be used for alarm pins because the sensors I use here do actually have the capability of actually alarming to if it goes over temperature or is too low. I'm never going to use a too low one because as soon as the lights come on, it's going to heat up relatively quickly anyway, so that's not a problem. And I monitor the temperatures, and when they go too high, I check it on the program loop, so it's always going to get checked. It's only a few seconds that it would have to wait, so I'm not overly worried about needing to have an alarm on it. But I wired it while I was there. I mean, there's still one short. I really needed a 3-pin plug to do 3 of them for 3 sensors. This is the body LEDs. I've wired, basically we've got R2D2, he's got a light for him. There's a light in the footwell or the nose gear well for the front landing gear. There's a light in there. We've got 4 blue little tiny like 1.5mm LEDs on the body of the fuselage, which are all wired in here. What else? That's it. I think that's it. Then we've got all the 0 volts in here. Then I've got the exhaust, the intakes here. So I've got the intake in, and then I've got the out for the left and out for the right. Both of these two here. These are wired in pairs, so there's 3 LEDs in each intake, sort of engine intake, and there's 4, isn't there? 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom. So the top LEDs are wired the same on both sides. The middle, basically whatever's on this side will be wired the same on the other side. And you may well be sitting there gasping going, ooh, that's a lot of current for a little Arduino. And yes, you'd be right. The brightness of all these LEDs is controlled by an LDR, so they're not normally ever going to be full bright anyway, and even if they are never fully on, because they're always kind of pulsing. They've got like a pulsing effect to be like an engine glowing. So I think I'm going to be under the sort of 40-50 milliamps maximum current rating of the Mega. This is the input for the exhausts, and this comes off of one of the Nanos. I've got the input, and then these are all wired in series, but basically the input from this one goes to, the output of this one goes to the input of this one, the output of this one goes to the input of this one, the output of that one goes to the input of this one, and that one goes nowhere because it's not used. So they're kind of in a chain. So you can wire them that way, you can wire them independently. So basically I've just tried to keep it as simple as possible. These on here, these are the exhausts, and you can see where I've kind of blanked them off, so the output of one goes to the input of the other type of thing, so that it stops them going right through. So this is an addition to like the board part. So in here, I'll go right in close now. You can just see, if it will focus, the LED there. See the white piece at the bottom? This one I've kind of painted it over with the glue and painted it black. Those ones are the same, but you can see them. So what I'm thinking of doing is cutting some little tiny bits of plastic and just gluing them in here so they form like a cone, like a half cone, and then just glue them in and paint it all black, and it will direct the light just into the actual engine, if you like, so you don't see the LEDs at all. I mean, that one, obviously I can just touch that one up a bit with some black paint, would make that look better, but that was my plan. As I said, R2 lights up. He's really good that they made him clear. But I'll just cover another thing on this. I was talking to you about the connections on these left hand and right hand. They're marked left hand and right hand, so this is all the positives, this is the negatives, 0 volts. Everything's marked so that you can plug it onto the board. These are wired in pairs, so basically that LED there has a mating LED on the other side, the other one of these, and I'm a little bit worried that they're going to draw too much current, but I don't think they will, because they're never really fully on. When it's actually running, I'll show you that. Right, the body LEDs are these little tiny things here. It's not even going to focus on them, they're that small. There is one just in the nose there, which you hardly see, and if I hadn't pointed it out to you, you probably wouldn't even notice, but they light up blue, and these just light up all these, both sides. I'll flip it over so you can see the inside. So this is the bottom of R2-D2, and basically I've drilled a hole, so that because he's got a hole in him, which is like clear plastic, so I've drilled a hole that lines up and put in a surface mount LED and just glued it in here. These are all using these JST connections. These things are a bit I'm not that pleased with them, actually, I've got to be honest, but everything else uses these 2.54 KK, I think they're KK 2.54 connections. You get them, male and female of those. So all the jewels are cabled with these. Everything else in the bottom fuselages use these JST connections, so they're all marked. They'll only go together with each other. I've tried to cable them also. If you plug it in the wrong place, it'll still come on. It just won't be the light you expect it to be. So this is the model now. This is the front nose wheel LED I was saying about. This is the front LED is now glued in. There's a sensor fitted. The centre one with the sensor, the tail one with the sensor. I've done all this on like a loom, because that board, let me just grab that board there, hang on a second. This board is going to sit basically like that in the model, so everything below here isn't going to be sort of very accessible. I'm going to just hot glue that on there, is the plan. So that's going to just sit on there. So these are going to go underneath, and where these joins are just now, so I can light everything up, this is going to have a multi-plug on it, which I've ordered, a Molex 6-way plug. So I've got this, which is like a, you know, like radio control type connector. Oops. And these ones are going to have the multi-plug. Oh, that's come out there, look at that, like I didn't touch that when it was on, isn't it? So that I can put that, so that when it comes through the top of the model, I can just connect it all and put the lid on. So here we are. I've just like hot glued this onto here to try and keep it all out the way. Hopefully there's nothing going to go wrong with this now, because it's going to start becoming awkward. These are glued down as well. There's intake 1, intake 2, or sorry, exhaust 1 and 2. Oh, I'll do them both that way, there you go. So everything's hot glued, all these cables are hot glued to the sides, because the spare model that we've got up, one of the wires has dropped or moved, and it's just touching the fan, which is just annoying. So, you know, we'll have to take that off and see. So, basically, this is the ribbon cable that comes from the control board, which I've just rested on top of it for the moment. It obviously needs to be neatened up, and I'm going to have to cut slots in it to get the cables through, because this is the top and it will all be going down through this board down to the model when it's up in the ceiling. But for now I'm thinking of just powering this up tonight to make sure everything still works where it's been totally apart. But the thing is, the program's not finished, it's in bits, so I can't test it fully, but I will have a look. And then it doesn't look very good here. If I turn the light out, let me see if I can turn the light out without falling over everything. Oh shit. So they kind of glow. I'm going to put the body LEDs here. That's it, playing a random track. These, I can turn these off. There's one in the nose as well. The brightness of these can be adjusted. This is the nose wheel one. That's it there. Let me put the light back on again. That's the one there. This is the nose gear one. Where the wheel well is. R2, I can't remember how I coded him now, but he's on. But I know I want him to flick. It just could, you know, I want him to sort of like flash and pulse, and I can play a tune, you know, I can play his noise he makes with the MP3 player. Both of these are on this side, so it just lights it up blue. As I said, the relays here, this controls, I've got 4 relays, but they will control 3 lights, possibly the fan as well. I'm thinking I might just get one that switches the fan on so that it all comes on together. And that is MP3 player there. It won't be, so I don't know how long it's. What I'll do, I'll restart it because it'll play a tune, you know, play one of its songs. It always plays the same one to start up with, but then it does random, and it's random times as well. So there is a title sequence which I've taken off. So once this starts, it waits. It now waits until the display is fully loaded and all the serial buses or the I2C buses talking. Everything's talking to each other, then it starts up. I haven't put the intakes on, more wires to add, but it's getting pretty packed in there. Right, this is it starting up, so you kind of get like the red glow of the engines are sort of starting, and once I get the opaque lens in there it will be a lot better, and it gradually goes to a purpley blue, and then it fully lights up, and then it's blue flickering with like purple, reddy purple colours. Again, there's different patterns I can produce on that. It's start thing at the moment. I'm going to make it so it plays like I've got like a title thing to do, but I found the problem with this is there's obviously a joint gone there somewhere. How the hell I'm going to be able to fix that, I don't know. Microsurgery, they were unbelievably small. I can't even focus on the sodding things, they're so small. But as I said, they might even get turned off anyway. I don't know whether Dean's going to like them. I kind of added that with a bit of artistic flair. I thought it would look nice, you know, with the glow off of it, because the pool rooms like this would be quite dark above it because the light is going down and reflecting up. But right, yeah, so we'll end on some good news. I have managed to solder that with some micro soldering, which is not far short of a miracle, I have to say, because they are so bloody small. It is unreal, and I don't have any left, so if I lost it, that would be it. But I've managed to do it. Hopefully it stays fixed and done, because obviously the model's going to change slightly, isn't it, as it warms up. Maybe it'll crack the solder on these again because they're so small. If it does, I think we'll get to the point where they just don't work, and we can just pick them off and maybe fill it and just do something with it. But that really is all I'm going to do now tonight. I really have done enough today with bits and bobs.